Alright guys, Papa Pepper here, back once again with more of 50 Days to Understanding the End Times More Accurately. Just a small 50-day daily devotional I wrote about eschatology, the study of end times as revealed in the Bible, just to kind of put to rest some of the common misconceptions I believe that are out there. So this is Day 35, Timing, Part 3. The next event in Matthew gives us more food for thought pertaining to timing. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, and from one end of heaven to the other. Matthew chapter 24, verses 30 to 31. I believe that this event is the rapture. If it is, then every believer has just left the earth after the sun and moon were darkened, and that explains why every person on earth is a non-believer after the same event in Revelation 6. These believers would have just come out of the Great Tribulation since they were actually on earth to experience it. If those remaining requirements are met after the sixth seal is open, the dark sun and blood moon, the removal of true believers, rapture, and the sealing of the 144,000, then the seventh seal can now be opened. If this book indeed contains the wrath of God, once the last seal preventing its opening is removed, we should see God's end-time wrath finally begin. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about the space of a half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. Revelation chapter 8 verses 1 to 5. At this point, we see that all of heaven becomes completely silent for about a half an hour, perhaps out of fearful expectation because of what is about to be unleashed. We also see seven angels standing before God being given seven trumpets. Another angel fills a golden censer with fire from the altar before the throne of God and casts it into the earth. Unlike with the seals, we finally actually see something originating from before God in heaven and being unleashed on the earth. After this, we see both seven trumpets and seven vials. The trumpets are not specifically called God's wrath, but there is nothing to rule out this possibility, as there is with the seals. The vials are definitely referred to as God's wrath. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, seven angels having the seven last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. Revelation chapter 15 verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. Revelation chapter 16 verse 1. Point number 1. Before the day of the Lord begins, a sign in the sun and moon must occur, as well as the rapture. Point number 2. When the timing of the events is compared, it seems very likely that Revelation 6 and 7 address the same events as the Olivet Discourse. That's the end of Day 35. Join me back again tomorrow for Day 36, and thank you for joining me so far. Pop out.